This one is uniquely terrifying. The Paris Catacombs are basically a gigantic underground cemetery that looks straight out of a horror movie. This footage was found on a camera from down there, the owner of which has never been found. Much of the catacombs are not open to public, and this was a man that was trespassing. The authenticity of this video cannot be confirmed, but it's actually believed by most, as this definitely is the Paris Catacombs. Despite the footage first airing on a TV show years ago, there has been nothing pointing towards it being faked. The man filming is almost certainly dead and either had a panic attack due to claustrophobia and stress, or he wasn't alone down there, as he really seemed to be running from something.
As though something was scaring him. He's frightened. Occasionally he stops, perhaps to try to decide which way to run among all the many different corridors. He's running faster and faster and faster, deeper and deeper into the catacombs. And all of a sudden, we hear his breathing get louder and louder, as though something was scaring him. He's frightened. Occasionally he stops, perhaps to try to decide which way to run among all the many different corridors. He's running faster and faster and faster, deeper and deeper into the catacombs. And all of a sudden,
Dog of Man is a man-made horror by the creator David Firth. David Firth is also the creator of Salad Fingers, which was mentioned in the first layer. The animation shows a man wanting to become a dog and eventually transforming into a half-human, half-dog abomination. All the comments I could find on this video are in Russian, so I'm guessing it was extra popular over there for some reason. My sister shows a video of a woman who is in her wedding dress, followed by the same footage of her pregnant. She then rips off her incredibly realistic face mask. It then goes on to show her eating and then shows her ripping off her face again, but we can't see who's underneath. My dad Nexpo has made a video on this, which I'll link in the description, that covers the whole thing, but it seems to be a fairly clear metaphor of showing who they really are once they're married and pregnant. The entire video is quite unsettling. Barbie.avi narrates the tale of an individual who rescued an outdated computer discarded in a dumpster, stumbling upon a perplexing video file named Barbie.avi in the process. Within this AVI file, the viewer encounters footage of a young woman undergoing an interview, her distress and fear intensifying as the recording unfolds. The conclusion of the Barbie.avi video unveils scenes of a woman strolling alongside a railroad track and venturing into the adjacent forest. The individual who stumbled upon this video subsequently located the site, unearthing an abandoned house and concealing a chilling secret. But as a large majority of items from the list are, this is purely a story and not real. My uncle Scare Theater did a great video on this if you want to learn more, which I'll link in the description. PT.4 is a man-made educational video about what the purpose of all the rooms in his house are. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this video. It's quite repetitive, and my intrigue was lost quite quickly. But it's sitting on a large amount of views, and there are quite a few creators in the comments talking about how this piece inspired them. So maybe I'm just not getting something. Either way, some of the images are pretty neat. Body of a pig is a ghost caught on film type video. The description of it reads, "Truly frightening EVP recorded in a secret location during my tenure as the special guest and resident expert with a group that I cannot name. My association with the group ended due to reasons I cannot legally disclose. But, as I am the bigger man, I wish them well." The video shows a moving shadow and then that a voice is saying, "I have the body of a pig," followed by a grunt. If this all smells a bit fishy, that's because it is 100% fake. Surprising, I'm sure. Regardless, quite a good video. There are two videos both named Every Day, I Grow Some More, and both have World Corp being credited. World Corp is a very messed up ARG group that had a lot of controversy surrounding their clips, as it came to light that they were using footage of real-life horrors spliced in with their content. I'll leave a link to a video going deeper into this in the description, but I'd recommend giving this one a miss. I think there's a line with these sorts of things, and posting CP definitely crosses that line. This is a very long one featuring 20 hours of footage that I might eventually do a video on. Ricardo Lopez, a Uruguayan man, became widely known for his troubling fixation on the Icelandic singer and artist Bjork during the late 1990s. His story underscores the potential dangers of extreme obsessions and raises awareness about the importance of addressing mental health issues. Lopez initially admired Bjork's music and artistic talents like many fans. However, his infatuation escalated into an unhealthy obsession over time. He began to believe that he had a deep connection with Bjork and that she was meant to be with him. His fixation took a disturbing turn when he developed a delusional belief that he needed to protect her from perceived threats. In 1996, Lopez devised a disturbing plan that involved recording a series of video diaries to document his thoughts and actions. He also constructed a potentially harmful device intended for Bjork. This device was intercepted by postal workers who recognized its dangerous nature, preventing it from reaching Bjork. Authorities, alarmed by the intercepted package, began investigating Lopez's activities and located him at his residence. Tragically, they found that he had taken his own life. All of these are incredibly creepy, but thankfully no one other than Ricardo was hurt. The Wyoming Incident, also known as the Wyoming hijacking, is a lesser-known case of television broadcast interference. A hacker managed to disrupt broadcasts on a local programming channel, which is thought to serve several smaller communities in Niobrara County. The hacker then aired their own video, which featured numerous clips of disembodied human heads displaying various emotions and poses. This video is mainly known within the local community and might not have gained much attention if it weren't for the unusual effects it had on a few residents who watched it for an extended period. People reported experiencing nausea, seeing things that weren't there, hallucinations, headaches, and other discomforts. Some speculated that it had a paranormal cause, but experts have determined that the afflictions were actually the result of specific frequencies used during the broadcast. In this case, the frequency played fell between 17 and 19 hertz. When exposed to such frequencies for extended periods, it can make the eyes subtly vibrate, which can sometimes lead to visual hallucinations. Now, this would be very interesting if it was real, but unfortunately it isn't. Like many videos seen here, this is another creepypasta. This is a government campaign against cannabis use that is trying to alert teenagers about the potential health problems that can come from smoking or eating the drug over a long time. The ads made by a company called Mother show people who use cannabis getting new brains, memory stems, and brain fluid in a fancy shop in West London. The ads were supposed to show 20 different symptoms linked to cannabis use, such as feeling overly anxious, forgetting things, feeling sick, and being lazy. Honestly, it's all pretty ridiculous and very extreme. I can't imagine this would have swayed anyone's opinion on the substance.
You know, back in the old days, before these came out, you lost it on weed and phew, that was it. Imagine that. You want it installed?
With stronger strains than ever before. Mess with cannabis and you could mess with your mind. If you'd like to find out more, talk to Frank.
Local 58 is an analog horror series, and Contigency is the second episode, arguably the most well-known. This is an incredibly well-made series, and I'll leave a link in the description to a deep dive on it, as it's impossible to do it justice in this format. The episode begins with a schedule indicating that the station's broadcast day, which usually ends at 3 a.m., is about to conclude. Suddenly, the broadcast is interrupted by an unexpected message, referred to as a contingency message, made by the U.S. Department for the Preservation of American Dignity. While an instrumental version of the Star-Spangled Banner plays in the background, and an American flag waves, a scrolling message signed by U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson appears on the screen. The message states that the United States has been compelled to surrender to an unidentified enemy force despite the efforts of the military. It urges the American public to act to preserve the memory of the United States clear and bright, untarnished and uncompromised. It also mentions that President Johnson and his family have already taken action and encourages people of all ages to do the same. Interestingly, at this point, the music briefly changes to the beginning of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony before returning to the Star-Spangled Banner. As the video unfolds, it becomes evident that these messages are actually commands for every citizen to participate in a mass ritualistic ceremony following the country's surrender. The message also suggests that this message will repeat until there is none to read it, and local law enforcement would ensure everyone follows through, implying that individuals in the country have no choice in the matter. Local 58 eventually regains control of the broadcast, displaying a title card that clarifies the message was a hoax and apologizes for any inconvenience caused. Daisy Leaves is a short 1-minute video showing a person wrapped up in a bin bag, followed by an open door and then a person standing at the closed door. I feel it's pretty clear that this man at the end is implied to have killed her, and from all the comments it seems to be pointing to an abusive relationship. There's also a flash of text for less than a second that seems to point to where she's buried. This layer is the smallest of the 7, but we are now more than halfway there. Please make sure to subscribe and interact with the video before leaving, and if you have time, check out my new series titled Inhumanity. I think it's my best work yet, but the YouTube algorithm seems to strongly disagree. And until next time, keep fearing the living.